Hello, my name's Callum, and welcome to The Price of Life. Do you like tuna toasties? Do you like cracking open some tuna, seeing that nice juicy olive oil, and throwing it into your food dishes? Have you ever wanted to know where it comes from? What's it made of? What is the true environmental price? Well, you've come to the right place. Today I will show you the true environmental cost of tuna, specifically focusing on Sealord tuna, the 180 gram Sensations range with olive oil. Let's begin. Step 1. What's it made of and where does it come from? So, the ingredients are 70% tuna, 15% olive oil, water, salt. So what is the tuna and where does it come from? Sealord tuna is skipjack tuna, caught in the western central Pacific Ocean. The skipjack tuna is caught using purse seine nets. Here is a small diagram of the purse seine net. The tuna is then caught and distributed to two production companies in Thailand, Chotiwat Manufacturing Company and Pattaya Food Group. So what is the environmental cost of catching tuna in the western central Pacific Ocean and bringing it to the production company line? What are the costs to the environment using a commercial fishing boat? So this is the study I used, and I'll give a brief description of the results I came up with. All references will be in the link below. So here are the results of the 592 horsepower fishing boat using the purse seine fishing method. I decided to get the results of 3 months fishing to produce 1 container's worth of tuna Sensations. So for 3 months, they spent 848 hours at sea. They used 80.59 tonne of diesel. That is a ton of oil. The bycatch that got stuck in their nets was around 180 kgs worth of bycatch. A 20-tonne container fills 144,142 cans of tuna. Here are the other consumption considerations. I estimated 4 crew members to be on board. 4 crew members for 3 months would consume roughly 443 kgs of food, 478 litres of water, 381 litres of other beverages. If you want to see how I got the food consumption cost data, look at my previous video in the link below. The sailors would also use roughly 12 bars of soap. This is if sailors clean themselves at all. The savages. So other consumption cost considerations, which I'm not going to go into, is the boat maintenance, fuel logistics from oil field to pump to ship in Thailand port, the hydraulic fluid, cleaning fluid, freezers on boat, etc., etc. Okay, we did it. The tuna is now on its way to the factory. So let's grab the other ingredients. What were the other ingredients again? Olive oil. Where does it come from and how is it made? Let's keep this quick and simple. I couldn't get information on exactly where the olive oil comes from, but here is a list of the world countries that produce olive oil and where it most likely came from. And here's some quick snapshots of how olive oil is made. Okay, now that you know how it's made, here are the factory costs to consider for the olive oil factory. The main factory costs would be electricity, maintenance, and workers. The electricity costs would be fairly substantial. The maintenance costs would include changing conveyor belts, extractors, cleaners, sorters, computers, lights, maintaining equipment, etc., etc. Another thing to consider is the packaging costs. The bottles, cardboard, plastic wrap, crates, pallets, when getting loaded and sent to other countries. For this video, I'm going to do 20 tonne of tuna, which is a container load of tuna. So 15% of the tuna can was olive oil. So effectively 15% of the tuna cans on the container would equal 3 tonne of olive oil. Time to get on a boat. The olive oil gets shipped on the boat. So 3 tonne of olive oil is being shipped to Thailand from Spain. For this video I will get the consumption costs of the Buymeacoffee ship that came to New Zealand. It is a 39,064 deadweight ship. This gives roughly 1,627 TEU, which is roughly how many containers are on the ship. A ship of this size uses 95 tonne of oil per day. All references in the link below. So here are the results of 13 days at sea with 15 crew members on this boat, travelling from Spain to Thailand. The boat consumed 1,235 tonnes of oil. Oh! 15 crew members at sea for 13 days would consume roughly 240 kgs of food, 259 litres of water, and 206 litres of beverages. I won't go into detail of the other consumption costs this boat would create. Last ingredient, salt. For this video we will use Prung Thip salt. This is one of Thailand's biggest salt producers and would most likely be used at the Chottiwat Manufacturing Company. So how is this salt made? There is a great YouTube video showing this in the description below. The video is called PSC Introduction. Basically this company takes rock salt from under the ground. They do this by drilling a hole, pumping diesel and water into the hole, and then sucking out saltwater brine. The saltwater brine is collected, pumped to the factory and processed at the factory line. I won't go into the factory costs, but you get the picture. There's a lot of consumption involved in all these different processes. So the amount of salt needed for a container load of tuna is 21.23 kgs of salt. It is then transported from the Buymeacoffee Salt Company to Chottiwat Manufacturing Company. Let's say it's transported by truck in a 25.8 tonne truck, which is a standard size truck in New Zealand. The amount of fuel consumption for this journey would be roughly 600 litres of diesel. Other consumption considerations would be filling up at the gas stations, fuel distribution, maintenance costs of trucks, roading costs, etc, etc. Time to make the tuna sensations canned tuna. This has been a long journey, folks. A damn long journey. We will find the true costs. Come on, stay with me. The Chottiwat manufacturing costs. Let's get cracking. Manufacturing canned tuna costs. First of all, how does the tuna and olive oil and salt get into the cans? What is the process? So in the link below there is a video of how tuna is made. I will show a few pictures of the process to give you some perspective of the costs of making tuna. Factory electricity costs. Here is an average estimate of the consumption cost of electricity in food factories in America. I will use this study to get the basic electricity cost for running the Chottiwat Manufacturing Company. So the power cost is roughly 56 kilowatts per square foot per hour. So to find Chottiwat Manufacturing Company's costs, I had to get the square meterage of the building. I then converted the square meterage of the building to square feet, and here are the results of my calculations. For this video, let's estimate 20 tonne of canned tuna is made in 8 hours. This would amount to 138,535,040 kilowatts for the day. This is 195,408 times more power than an average house in USA uses in one day. So I'll briefly cover Thailand power costs, just so you get a base idea of where the power is coming from and how it's made. So in 2018, 65% of Thailand's electricity was made by natural gas. Small amounts of the power are made by coal, oil, hydro and renewables, but the majority is natural gas. There is a video on natural gas power in the link below. So the environmental costs of electricity using natural gas would be the infrastructure of building and creating factories, boring holes to get natural gas, the electricity lines, all of the different technology, maintenance, power grids, so on and so on. Can you feel the power? So that's all the power done. Time to meet the workers. So I've estimated there'll be roughly 150 workers in the Chottiwat Manufacturing Company. Here are my calculations of how much consumption the 150 workers would use in 8 hours. Roughly 92 kgs of food, 99 litres of water, 79 litres of beverages. Other consideration costs are factory maintenance, machines, buildings, computers, cleaning supplies, uniforms, tuna cans, oiling, machines, etc. The logistic costs of moving pallets with fish and olive oil, trucks, cranes, forklifts from dock to factory. So another thing to be aware of is the production costs of making aluminium cans, cardboard boxes, packaging tape and print, and the factories that make these specific things. The list goes on and on. When will the consumption end? We're on the home straight now. The tuna cans have finally been made. Now they just have to be transported to New Zealand. So first off, all the canned tuna gets put into boxes. These boxes are then put onto crates. These crates are then put onto forklifts. These forklifts then load them into trucks. These trucks take them to the docks. At the docks, the crates are then put on forklifts into containers. These containers are then picked up by cranes and put on container ships. The ship then takes its cargo to New Zealand. The container ship would then arrive at Auckland Port. From the port, the containers are taken to 80 Favona Road. This is the primary distribution centre for Countdown. The tuna product, along with lots of other different products, would then go on a truck to the Christchurch Shands Road distribution centre. In Countdown stores, when they run out of product, an automatic fax is sent via computer ordering more product. This product then comes from the distribution centre. For this video, I'm going to use Countdown Eastgate in Christchurch as an example of a location to go to the supermarket and buy canned tuna. The truck then unloads the product at Eastgate Countdown using forklifts and pallet jacks to take the product into the store and on the shelves. We made it! Yes! Now the final consumption costs. First of all, here are the logistical consumption costs. First of all, from Chottiwat Manufacturing to Port Songlar, the truck travelled 38.6 kilometres and used 18 litres of diesel. Next, the ship from Port Songlar to Auckland Port went 11,380 kilometres and it took 10 days at 25 knots. This would use 950 tonnes of oil, roughly. For 10 days at sea, 15 crew members would use 184 kgs of food, 199 litres of water, and 158 litres of beverages, roughly. Arriving at Auckland Port, the tuna then travels to Countdown Main Distribution Centre in Shands Road, which is 1,068 kilometres. It would use roughly 501 litres of diesel. From Shands Road, the tuna would then go to Eastgate Mall. That's 14.5 kilometres, and that would be 6 litres of diesel. All up, the total truck diesel cost would be 526 litres of diesel, roughly. Forklifts use roughly 8 gallons of liquid propane every 6 hours on average. For this video, let's estimate that it used 2 tanks for all of the processes of moving canned tuna. Here's a description of the final costs of all of the process. I'll let you pause the video to read. Here are my final thoughts. I just want to briefly talk about the container ship oil costs. I based my oil costs on a 1,627 TEU container ship, which is how many containers fit on the ship. To get the oil cost of the ship for just one container, you would divide 1,627 by the amount of oil that was used on that boat voyage. The cost will still be the same, but you are also getting the benefits of the 1,626 other containers that would be on that ship coming to New Zealand. It's extremely hard to come up with the exact environmental costs of a product and its logistics. I've done my best to portray and keep your eyes open to the amount of different processes that are involved in getting food from supermarket to table, and the hidden processes in between. I would love people to send comments, advice, or any other useful information to help me for future videos. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked my content, give it a good thumbs up, and if you want to see more, click the subscribe button and join me on my adventures. You can also support me by going to buymeacoffee.com in the link below. Goodbye!